Hello, everybody, and welcome to the most important show you have ever seen in your entire life. It might sound like I'm exaggerating, but there is no exaggeration in my voice. Welcome to episode 3 of NNN News, season 3, the only source for truth, tenacity, and truth. As always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Neville Croft. Say hi, Nev.
Greetings, comrades, and welcome to our Talkie Tube. Today we're joined by a special guest, Unbiased Katie. And Katie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm Katie. I am the owner of the largest feminist Discord server, and I'm also the owner of the most successful feminist news outlet, Only Feminists.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Let's just get right into the news here. Our first story comes to us from the lovely Azeria Times. It seems like a very reputable source. They say that Putin is putting his Russian nuclear stuff on high alert. What do you think this means, guys?
Well, I mean, he's probably compensating for something.
I definitely think he's compensating for something. I mean, could this... You probably know all about this, Katie, but could this be some sort of male posturing thing?
Absolutely. I think when men lack specific girth in areas, they try to compensate for it in other ways. But I'm shocked because I didn't know that nukes were sentient. I didn't know that they could be put on a specific alert.
I didn't know that either. That they were able to be, so ready at any moment's notice. But I guess that it's the new AI or something, new computers. I am a little worried that this might be my fault. I told Putin that he needed a new, clear plan on Ukraine, but I think something might have got mixed with my message. I mean, should I?
Well, I mean, that one's on him, though. I mean, I don't understand how he could get that mixed up.
I thought I was pretty clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that some people have been Instagramming Putin on DM. I really said that well. DMing Instagram on Putin. You think that's going to work out for them? I think it's a great cause, at least.
So
I did it.
Wow.
I'll come out and admit it.
Well,
I did it.
And you've seen some results, you think? I mean, we haven't been nuked yet.
We haven't been nuked yet. I know a lot of people have been going on TikTok and from TikTok they've been going to Instagram and commenting stuff like okay, the thing with men is if you appeal to them in a specific manner, usually flirtatious manner, they'll listen to you. So commenting things like Vladdy Daddy, please listen to me, this isn't you.
So we can use the male ego to our advantage.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great. So everybody, make sure you DM Vladdy Daddy right now and tell him to stop this war. Because how else are we going to get this thing done?
Exactly.
Now, Nev, this next story, you actually picked up us for the lineup here. So why don't you introduce it here? This is the Ghost of Kiev. Tell us a little bit about this.
So apparently the Ghost of Kiev is a Ukrainian pilot that has been very successful in dealing with aggressive Russian jets. Allegedly taking down around 6 fighter jets.
Wow.
The thing is, what's happened is, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of cases of people possibly misgendering the Ghost of Kiev. So,
really?
A lot of people have been saying it's a he, but it could be a she, it could be a they, maybe even a z. I mean, who knows?
Well, any pronoun predictions, Katie? I mean, what do you think? What are the likelihoods it's a he? I mean, I think most pilots that are good are females, right?
Yeah, I'd seriously doubt that the Ghost of Kiev would be a male. I'd say more than likely, if they're going by the name Ghost, I'm guessing it's an NB.
Oh, wow. That's a great point. Because I think the spirit world is definitely, in very deeply in the spectrum as far as gender is concerned. That's interesting. Is it possible that this could maybe be Amelia Earhart? Obviously now as a ghost, maybe coming out as non-binary.
That would be incredible.
Maybe they're a phantasm gender or something.
Yeah, I think that's highly, highly, highly possible.
Actually, I do have a point to make about that. I don't know if you know who Demi Lovato is.
Sure, I love Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
She is a gender-neutral queen. In fact, I think we covered her sex toy line on here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Demi Lovato recently was in contact with ghosts.
Wow.
And they actually, they did a ghost hunting episode where they sang songs to the ghosts to help them deal with their trauma that they experience from sexism
And their gender dysphoria too. Wow.
and their gender dysphoria.
That's amazing. We need to do a spirit communication episode.
I think we should, definitely. I mean, if you can do some hexing or whatnot, do some of those like zim zim zalabim chants.
Yeah, but I'm worried now because it seems like whatever we do, we fix the world with our news. Obviously, internet news is the most important news you could be watching right now, now more than ever. But
yes,
how are we supposed to reach these Russians if they're going to be blocked on Facebook? They block all of Facebook to Russia. This is crazy. I mean, this was a targeted attack to stop them from watching internet news, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we should attack, Russia Today or something. If we can get on Russia Today, we can, I don't know, maybe convince them to get
I thought you were attempting to make a
happen.
threat, Nav. I didn't know Russia Today was a news publication, so I was a little confused there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Norm. I didn't mean to confuse anyone.
It's all right. Were you confused, Katie? Because I was confused.
I wasn't confused, but that's just because I think that I'm a woman and I understand concepts a lot quicker.
A higher level of intellect, obviously.
Mm.
Does this mean the Russians are going to have to go back to MySpace?
Well, it's looking like that.
I mean, what do you think Putin's MySpace bio is going to be like? Is he going to have Evanescence lyrics, brainy quotes? I mean, what do you think? What do you think Putin's quote is? Just invaded Ukraine today, feeling a little quirky. I mean,
I have one here actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Norm. It says, "When you see me by myself, don't get it twisted. I am my team," and I think that would be Putin's quote.
Wow. That does sound like a Putin thing to say. I mean, it's a little edgy. I've definitely heard a lot of people describe Putin as edgy recently. He definitely has that sort of personality. I mean, to put us on nuclear defense watch, you have to be at least a little edgy.
Oh, I recently found a selfie that Putin took.
Oh, really?
I'll send it in. I don't know if you want to refer to this.
Yeah,
It does have a very bad word
we'll
in
put
it.
it in post-production, or maybe I'll censor the word.
Yeah.
Just read it for us, Nev, because I can't.
It's a picture of Putin and what looks to be a child, and it says, "We out here doing bad, nasty word for poo," and then it is followed by the N word.
Damn. I did not know that they had such. And Putin probably made this meme himself, you think, right?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's so scary.
Well, I mean, it's a selfie here.
Yeah. Now, this next story is just. This should be highlighted as this is what every kid should be doing. Jason turned his father in for the January 6th insurrection. And this is what a Biden youth looks like, in my opinion. I mean, Katie, doesn't this give you any hope for the male gender that a person like this can exist to turn in their father?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything, it just reminds me of back when I was in school and those children who would remind the teacher about homework in order to make sure that we all got a good education. Like, hey, you forgot to give us homework today.
And a lot of people try to clown on that person who tells the teacher about the homework, but really, that person cares about your education, and you should too. All right, I mean that's a completely a great point. So yeah, people, you need to turn in your parents if you've seen them doing anything wrong. Like, let's say, for example, it seems like they're making a more sizable income than they're declaring on their tax returns. IRS, hello. It's not hard, guys. Just we can't be letting these parental figures keep on going.
Absolutely, and especially, I mean, if you ever see your parents doing something that's illegal, so if they don't pay a TV license, for example,
yep,
or if they're sharing a Netflix account with somebody else, that's all illegal activity, and you should be reporting it.
Exactly, 100%. And I just hope we start getting some pipelines so it's easier for kids to report their parents. Now, this one is very scary, guys. We've apparently had a record number of COVID cases right now during the Russian-Ukraine conflict. And it seems like the Russians are going in maskless here as a threat almost. I mean, do we think that the Russians going in maskless is more dangerous than any nuclear ordinance? Because I do.
I think so too. I think it presents a very clear and dangerous threat.
I could not agree more. Now, what are some things we can do about this now? What do you think?
So I think that first and foremost, the Russians should get vaccinated.
Vaccinated. That's a great point. Are we able to distribute vaccines? Are there any weapons that can fire vaccines?
Not that I can think of. I mean, the vaccines have proven to be, 100% effective. Why do you think we keep getting all these boosters?
Yeah, 100%. Now, I actually have with me here, now here we have a Russian nesting doll, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to airdrop these on to the Russian troops, and because it's a familiar figure, they're going to be able to relate to it. Now, inside this doll, if you heard it open up, I got a COVID-19 mask, and we're going to distribute these and magic markers so that they can write their pronouns on it, and I think we're going to be set, honestly.
That's beautiful. That's incredible. Jazz hands.
Jazz hands all around here. What would you do to customize your mask if you were a Russian troop?
So, if I was a Russian troop, I'd first of all write Biden 2024 on the front. I'd put my pronouns, and then I'd draw a little rainbow LGBTQIA XYZ flag on there.
Wow. And Katie, are you still there? Would you do anything special for your mask?
For my mask, I mean, personally, I would definitely make it pink, and I would write "Stop the Violence" on it.
Wow. A powerful message indeed. A very powerful message indeed.
Yeah. I just think, and it's something not a lot of people agree with, but I think that Putin sending his soldiers out there without masks is more dangerous than the threat of nuclear war, because COVID is real, and that's biochemical warfare. I would like to know how many people that have died in the conflict so far have actually died from COVID.
Wow, and are they covering up those deaths? By trying to act like there were bombs or something. That's a very important point to make here. Now, of course, everybody is wondering, how is the Chinese government covering the whole Russia-Ukraine thing? Now, we luckily, as with situations like this, it's helpful enough that we have a Chinese representative who sends us the correct information. So our note here is that the government is apparently handling the Ukraine conflict correctly, and that's apparently all we're supposed to say on that subject. What do you think, Nev?
I agree with whatever Xi Jinping says.
Yeah,
that's what my manager told me to say.
You're going to hear no arguments from me. So let's swiftly move along to the next story before we dwell longer than we should. I'm sure a lot of you know this, but Biden addressed the union recently, and he did a great job. I think they should do one of these State of the Unions every year or something. I mean, it was so good.
Yeah, they should do it every weekend.
Every weekend? Wow, Nev.
Yeah.
You're a real politics junkie.
Well, I love Biden.
What was your favorite part from the State of the Union, Nev?
I like the part where Biden spoke.
You like the part where Biden spoke? I like that part too. Do you have a favorite part, Katie?
I have something to admit.
Admit it, Katie.
I don't really like Joe Biden.
What?
Oh my God, this is like a bombshell.
I don't believe I'm
Is it because he has a penis?
No, I think the reason that I don't like Joe Biden is because Kamala could do such a better job. Okay,
that's true. Kamala is a queen. Everybody agrees with that. But, Kamala is kind of like a vice president in a way. I mean, like the supporting president.
That's very sexist.
Okay. I feel like I'm being taken to task right now.
I think I'm going to have a panic
Nev, I need some backup. I need some backup, Nev. Check our talking points, Nev. Biden supports women.
Biden is, for you and me, Biden has an LGBT flag in his office.
Biden loves us.
Putin, Biden. I'm sorry, I'm having a panic attack right now.
Oh my God!
I'm like physically, mentally trembling.
I'm calling our representative. They're saying Biden supports abortion. That's good, right?
I don't think that's true.
Oh no.
Biden likes transgenderisming people.
Well, let me give you this example, Neville. Biden wants transgender people to be in the army so they will die.
Oh my God.
Biden loves and respects POCs.
Didn't he say the N-word?
That was a verbal slip. That was a verbal slip.
That was doctored, Nom. It was doctored. It wasn't even a slip. It was doctored.
I wouldn't worry about it, everybody. Let's move on to Elon Musk. Everybody, Elon Musk sucks, right?
Yes.
Elon Musk does suck.
Elon Musk takes aim at President Biden. Why is everybody aiming at Biden right now? Biden needs some support because he didn't mention Tesla in the State of the Union. I think that Elon's just a whiny boy. I mean, according to Katie, you wouldn't even want to be in the State. Did you even watch the State of the Union, Katie, if you don't support Biden?
Whenever I disagree with anyone politically, I don't watch anything to do with them. I like to have
I mean, that's
only
probably a good
information.
tactic.
Yeah, I like to only surround myself by information that I agree with.
I mean, that way you're not going to get corrupted with misinformation, at least.
I agree.
Okay, well, I can at least support that. I mean, speaking about misinformation, we have Joe Rogan out here spreading it. He has the internet lolling because he spread. It was an image of Steven Seagal, and he tried to act like it was a picture from CNN. Isn't this crazy, guys?
Another white man with a podcast.
Yeah, another white man with a podcast who has said the N-word. I mean, I'm wondering, he's already said the N-word, so I'm wondering how bad this it really is, in comparison, but still pretty bad. Now, this is surprising because obviously, I don't know how Joe Rogan, can do something like this in fake news about CNN, because they would never do something like that about him,
Yeah. I don't know how he sleeps at night, to be honest, spreading this misinformation.
Yeah. And
Me neither.
I have a question for you, Katie. I was wondering, is Steve Seagal at all related to the feminist Steve in your server? I can't tell, obviously, because they're wearing a mask.
Absolutely not. And I think that if anyone, trying to speak out about that, it's a very dangerous thing to do.
Hello?
Norman?
I can hear you. Katie, do we still got you, or did we lose Katie?
We lost Katie.
Oh, my God. I think the Russians might have taken Katie out.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Nev, I think Katie would want us to keep going with the news.
I agree.
All right. Well, let's move swiftly on to the next story then. Katie will be back for the interview segment of the show, so stay tuned for that, guys. Moving on to the next story here. Apparently, the CDC director rebukes, big fancy word there, DeSantis for scolding high school students over masks. She says, quote, "It absolutely is their choice. I'm here to tell you fact check false, not your choice." I think if schools don't increase the number of masks that people are wearing, COVID's just going to come back, don't you think, Nev?
I think it will, yes. I think what we're seeing now is the spread of we could have a new variant, a Russian variant, I suspect, because, I mean, you've seen the Russian soldiers, they're not wearing masks at all. Probably none of them are vaccinated.
And it could be much more dangerous. And it starts at our schools. It starts off, if kids think that it's safe not to wear masks at schools, then they're going to start not wearing masks around all over the place.
Exactly. I mean, I just don't know what to say on this. It's incredible. Incredible.
Now, the next story here sort of hits home. It's about our lovely VP. It's a little confused here. So they're saying that Kamala was never used to being the Princess of Wales, but I thought Kamala was a VP, not a princess. Is she both now?
I think she's both. I mean, it's about time we had a princess of color. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that Kamala is considered the Princess of Wales. I mean, she obviously fits the position. But it was interesting because it was really caught me out. Did you know this, Nev? Because obviously you're a little closer to Wales.
Well, obviously, I had a sneaky suspicion about it, but I've never been able to confirm. I've had my interns look into it, but we've never really got any concrete evidence until now.
Wow. Moving on to the next story here. Apparently, the International Space Station, we're getting Russia detaching, or at least they're saying there's a propaganda video about that. When they say propaganda, does that mean it happened? That doesn't happen, Nev.
Well, I mean, if Russia says it, then it's not true.
Okay, but what if we say it?
Everything we say is true.
Okay, got it. So keep that in mind, guys. I really think we need to send Apollo up there as a life coach to sort of mediate this Russia-United States conflict on the space station, because otherwise, I mean, it's like a powder keg up there.
Yeah. I mean, get Apollo up there. He'll know what to do. Speak to him, sort him out.
Yeah.
We are talking about our Apollo, right?
Our Apollo. Yeah, our Apollo.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I trust this site, India Today, because I am not racist. So if anybody tries to say that this is like a fake site or something, you're racist. Okay? Next biggest story ever. We've found life on Mars, Nev. I mean,
Wow.
this is clear habitation.
What took this? Was it the Mars rover? Did the Mars rover take
Yeah,
that
the
picture?
Mars rover took this picture. I think it's a good picture.
Okay.
You can see, yeah, clearly several structures. Mind blowing.
Who do you think lives there then?
I think that they're going to be little green non-binary people who live
Wow.
there on Mars.
Honestly, they probably don't have the same perception of gender as we
Yeah.
have. They might be more progressive even. They might not even...
Gender is definitely a terrestrial concept for sure.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
once we become spacefaring, we'll realize that, because most of the Greys are just vessels. They're not even really alive themselves. So
yeah,
of course they don't know the gender, dummy. Psh.
Silly people.
Now I don't know how Russia found out about this, because I thought this was supposed to be top secret, but apparently Russia's stopped selling us rocket engines, and they say let them fly on something else, their broomsticks. I mean, how do they know about our secret space coven, Nev?
Well, they're like, perhaps I really do not want to say this now,
Yeah.
and it pains me to even think about it. I think we might have some Russian spies in the coven.
Some Russian spies in the coven? That's scary, Nev. I mean, how is that even possible? I thought we ran deep protection spells.
So, do you know the user, is it Baba Yaga?
Yeah.
Perhaps she's, Russian.
My God. That's so scary. What are we supposed to do about this, Neff? I mean, we're going to have to run some serious counterattacks.
I don't want to assume, but the broken English, I mean, I don't want to be racist. I'm not racist. I just want to say that.
Clearly, yeah.
It gives a hint, but,
Wow, that's scary. That's really scary. But you know what isn't scary, Nev?
What isn't scary, no?
Seeing feminists reclaim... I wish Katie was here for this one, but it's all right. She will be here for the interview in a moment here, guys, so don't worry. She's come back. But Robin Thicke, blurred lines, basically rape. But feminists have reclaimed it on TikTok. And this is a total Yaz moment. It's become a feminist icon. An anthem, even.
Wow. I mean, it really is. It's seizing the power and then, uplifting ourselves.
Yeah.
It's honestly, like, there's nothing that empowers me more than womanhood empowerment.
I could not agree more. And, speaking of womanhood empowerment, make sure to stay tuned for the interview, where we'll be doing a interview with Unbiased Katie. We will see you then. Hello, guys. We are now about to do the interview segment of the show. And I'm just going to start this off here. Katie, as a feminist, what do you think the biggest obstacle you have in facing gender equality is?
Well, thank you, first of all, for asking me that question. I would say one of the biggest obstacles that we face in relation to gender equality at the moment would be men with opinions, particularly men who have platforms to spread their incorrect opinions, their misogynistic views. So at the moment, that would be white men with podcasts.
Wow. I'm sure every white man with a podcast right now is just quaking hearing that.
But, yeah, I'm glad we're not white men with a podcast. That'd be horrible. Imagine that.
So you think the biggest issue we have for facing gender equality is men? I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, men are the root of all women's issues.
What can men do to stop being so gross and misogynistic?
So one thing I recommend that my male colleagues do is actually to pretend to be a woman on the internet.
Oh, wow.
So in relation to the catfishing, I would recommend that they pay a real girl on Fiverr or on OnlyFans for their photographs, so that they have the right to use them, and they're not stealing their identity without compensation.
Sure.
And then I would say maybe even get into an online relationship with a man, and then
and that'll help you understand the sort of male-female dynamic from that other perspective.
Exactly.
But would that not be a form of woman face?
Good question.
Yes and no. Yes, if you were just taking a girl's picture without their consent. But if the girl is
that's why you do the Fiverr.
Yeah.
Good.
Like OnlyFans or Fiverr for their images.
Interesting. This is a question I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds right now. Maybe parents watching this or something. What do you do if you find out that a loved one of yours has been converted to this, awful incelism? Is there is there any way of saving them?
It's it's a tough question. It depends on the age of the person in question. Um, if it's a child, like between the ages of, let's say, 8 to 14, one of the main kind of hints that they are becoming an incel would be if they started using Reddit or other far-right social media such as Telegram.
So
Yeah.
if you see Reddit on their phone, you should be worried. Is what you're saying?
Absolutely, you should be worried. And I would also actually say if you saw them on YouTube watching specific YouTubers, that would be, a surefire way to tell that they're turning into an incel.
Okay, so the next question
Easy
is,
one.
how would you go ahead and solve the Russian-Ukraine conflict?
I mean, gosh, I mean, it is an easy question in my answer, but okay, so basically, I have been talking about this to some of my friends, and I noticed that first off the bat, Putin seems to be getting away with things that a woman or a POC would have been arrested for already or taken out of power
For
for.
sure.
Just want to address that. And I guess that's just what happens when you have white male privilege. But how would I solve the conflict? I would probably go along the same lines as Annalyn McCord and try to reach Putin via artistic forms like poetry or song. But a lot of the time, men actually lack the emotional capacity to really appreciate art and speak about their emotions. So I
Yeah.
don't really know how much that would actually get through to him.
So
Have you tried hitting up Putin on Twitter?
I have sent him a DM and I've also commented under his Instagram posts asking him to stop or reach out to someone, and he hasn't responded.
wow.
Wow.
Speaking about Twitter, on Twitter there's an epidemic of these hateful emojis. What are some of these emojis that we need to ban just to sort of solve racism? You think?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of, what Fortnite is, like
Yeah,
that video
I
game
think I have
Fortnite.
heard of the Fortnite. Yes.
Well, there was an event recently, I think it was a Martin Luther King event, and basically
Big
Fortnite
ups,
tried
Martin
to
Luther.
be, yeah, they tried to be woke about it and progressive by removing all the emotes. But surprise, surprise, Disney, aka, the worst possible company out there for children at the moment,
Yeah.
refused for them to actually remove one of the emotes, which was the whip emoji from a Disney movie.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so
Wow.
all throughout the event, there were just people using the whip emoji, basically,
This is.
talking about
I mean, this.
referencing slavery.
This literally could trigger a traumatic episode. And a former, were there any former slaves who were playing this game? People who were alive during slavery in the U.S. Because I imagine Fortnite is probably an audience skews a little older.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, I mean, or even people who have read about slavery. Like me personally, I've watched the movie 12 Years a Slave, and then I looked at that event and I felt triggered because it was like almost like I was experiencing it myself.
Wow, that's so powerful. That's so powerful.
Wow. They really should put trigger warnings in these movies.
They should.
But speaking of movies, on to the next question. So I saw that we're currently boycotting the movie Enchanto for its racist, sexist, and ageist undertones. Are there any other Disney movies we should avoid while we're at it, do you think?
Yes, I would recommend avoiding any media that was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Okay.
Especially, I don't believe that he wrote this one, but I would say The Little Mermaid that's coming up as well, the new live action one.
Yeah.
They have a POC lady playing the Little Mermaid, but it's just another ploy by Disney because the villain in it is still a woman, and the hero in it is still the male prince. So it's
Wow.
just another tactic to pit minorities
So
against each other.
this is kind of like in the past we've seen Disney be accused of quote unquote queer baiting. This could be seen as maybe they're quote unquote race baiting. You could say.
Race baiting, white knighting, there always seems to be some sort of a savior
That's
there,
so
and it's
sad.
usually a male. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad that you'd think that these movies, when they include Latinx people, it would help, but it really seems like they're still these horrible, dynamics that they just keep on pushing. Now, I want to ask you, speaking about horrible dynamics, if you had one thing you could say to meat eaters, the most violent group in the world, what would it be?
How does it feel to be participating in modern day slavery?
Powerful.
Now that is poignant.
That is very poignant. Yeah, I agree.
Wow. My soul right now, it's just I can't describe it. I'm literally shaking. I'm like, wow.
I'm both literally shaking And on the spiritual astral plane, I'm also shaking. That's how much it shook me.
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
incredible.
I actually asked a mediator that exact question before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said, how does it feel to be participating in modern day slavery? And they responded and they said to me, Katie, I've never actually been asked that question before. I feel like I need to use the restroom.
It's really
That's insane.
it's one of those questions that makes you rethink everything you think you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I feel like that person's entire life just flashed before their eyes at that point.
For sure.
Anyway, the last question now. Recently on your Discord server, you banned all the trolls. How are the chuds reacting to your campaign to clean up your server?
They're really mad about it. They're really mad. They don't really understand that us losing 6,000 members is a good thing for the server and not a setback. They're
Yeah.
not smart enough to understand it. But basically, the way I see it is 6,000 isn't that crazy of a number.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty realistic. 6,000 people gone. It's okay because they were trolls.
Yeah.
So just saying.
And
And also, yeah.
go ahead. Well, I'd heard from one of your moderators that some of the trolls had been confirmed to have Russian IP addresses too.
Yes, yes. Russian IP addresses. There were multiple accounts that had the same IP address. These were all accounts. Every single one of them had all been against our views. So
Wow.
I kind of would, we kind of captioned it after we got rid of the 6,000. We were like, well, let's come up with like a cool name for it. And I came up with the final feminist solution.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I think anything that gets rid of trolls is good. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the interview. I think that you answered all the questions phenomenally.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. So stay tuned, guys, when we'll move into the Trump Watch. We will see you there. Wow, that was just a great interview, Nev. Now we're about to do the Trump Watch here. And this is a very scary Trump Watch. I spent the majority of my time preparing this show on the Trump Watch. I read every single article that was released about Donald Trump in the past 2 weeks, and I came up with 3. Nev, what is with this media silence? What is Trump trying to hide?
I think that Donald Trump is up to something truly evil.
Why is
I would not be.
Why is the media not focusing on former Donald Trump 24/7?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what issues are more important than this right now.
For sure. I mean, now let's just get into the Trump news now, because the news we have is not great, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The first article. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that Trump is definitely having some, Russian involvement right now, which is why he's been on the download for so long.
For reals, for steals. Now, this next article is pretty cut and dry here. This is from Vanity Fair. And this sort of outlines something we've talked about in the show before, which is the Russian-Putin love affair. And he has sort of went out and even said that he loves Putin, I think, as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, is Trump responsible for Putin invading Ukraine?
I think he probably played a part in it. We know that those two have been very close, especially since, Trump was president. I think it's very likely that Trump has been, in Moscow a few times since he's left office.
For sure. That's definitely a possibility.
No, I'm having a hard time with my masks here. I don't want to say this, but maybe the people who say put, free masks on, maybe they're not entirely right.
Are you sure, Nev? That looks really comfortable.
I mean, I mean, it is. It's just I'm having an issue seeing right now. My glasses are very
that makes it hard for you?
I mean, I don't want to complain because,
All right, well, don't complain. Don't
complain
complain then. Let's go on to the next article, could we?
Yeah.
All right, well, with your permission, Nev, thanks. The article says, no, Trump would not have stopped the Russia invasion in Ukraine. Duh. If President was fighting right now, we would literally be on Putin's side.
Yeah, we would be probably invading Ukraine with him.
For sure. So whoever posts this article, duh alert, hashtag duh alert.
I can't believe they paid someone to write the obvious. Wow, imagine if we did that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. That would be, like, crazy. Next, we got Biden rehires a national security staff member pushed out by Donald Trump. I'm glad that Biden's finally able to fix all these Trump mistakes. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's good. But if Trump didn't like him, that's good enough for me. Right?
That's good enough for everyone.
Well, this has been a rather skeletal Trump watch, but that's just the reality of this media campaign that Trump has been spreading. But this has been a great show. Thank you for watching. Make sure to stay black, and we will see you
Stay black.
in the next one. Bye-bye.